Hi, welcome. Today we are going to be showing you how to make the brownie recipe that you will be making, Culinary Basics. This is personally one of my favorites because the day after you bake these brownies, you're going to go ahead and participate in a little contest to see who can provide the best plate presentation while decorating these brownies. Your first step before you start anything today is to make sure that your oven is nice and preheated so that when your brownies are ready to go in the oven, you don't have to wait around waiting for that oven to preheat. I'm going to go ahead and check it, and my oven is currently preheating to 350 degrees. Next, I'm going to go ahead and grab some shortening. This is shortening. It's a type of fat. We are going to line the bottom, the very bottom, actually up and down all four sides of this baking sheet today with this shortening. What that's going to do is make sure that our brownies do not stick to the pan. Nobody likes stuck to the pan brownies. You want to be able to eat everything that you bake. You don't want it, burned and stuck to that pan. So I'm just going to go ahead with a paper towel, just kind of dip it in there, and lightly coat the bottom and maybe a little bit up and down on the sides of the pan with shortening. You don't want it too thick because this is really oily. You just kind of want a nice thin layer. Okay, and when finished, you can go ahead and set aside and throw out that paper towel full of shortening. Next, I'm going to go ahead and grab a saucepan, and I'm going to melt a few things together on top of my induction burner here. I'm going to melt together the butter, my unsweetened chocolate, and semi-sweet chocolate over a medium heat, over actually a low heat. These are my baking squares. Now you want to make sure that you grab the correct baking squares. If you grab the wrong ones, let's just say that you grab 3 unsweetened baking squares, you're not going to get nice sweet brownies. If you grab all 3 semi-sweet, it's going to be too sweet. So you want to make sure that you really follow your recipe and grab the right ones. Today I am going to put all 3 of these in my pan, as well as my butter. I'm going to take this. Every stick of butter in the whole culinary world is worth a half of a cup. So I'm going to put my half of a cup of butter in my saucepan over my induction burner. I'm going to turn it on. Turn it down to about a low heat. Okay, I'm going to have this melting on top of this induction burner for about 7 minutes. Okay, so our butter and our chocolate pieces have been melting over about a low heat on our induction burner for about 4 to 7 minutes. Depending on the type of low heat that you're working with, or whether or not you are on an induction burner or a gas or electric stove, might differ the time. So you definitely have to watch. You have to eye it to make sure that it's all nice and blended and smooth, just like this. You don't want any butter pieces to be whole. You don't want any of the chocolate pieces to be whole. You want everything nice and smooth. After your butter and your chocolate has been mixed together, you're going to go ahead and remove it from the heat. So completely take it off of the induction burner, take it off of your gas or electric stove, and you are ready to stir some of the other ingredients in. So I'm going to start by stirring in the sugar and the vanilla, which has already been pre-measured. Always throw away your bags as you go. Clean as you go. It makes a lot easier of a time to clean up at the end. I'm going to go ahead and stir that sugar and vanilla in there. Kind of stir it until you can't see the sugar granules anymore. Okay, and after that's nice and stirred, I'm going to go ahead and crack my eggs in one at a time, mixing well after each addition. So I'm going to go ahead and start with my first one. Crack it in there and throw my shell in the garbage can. I'm going to go ahead and mix well after each egg. You'll slowly see this batter start to kind of turn into a, what you're used to at home, that basic brownie batter look. Okay, 1 egg down, 2 to go. Stirring as I go. And the last egg. Go ahead and stir that in there. Okay, and the last two ingredients that I'm going to go ahead and add to my mixture is my flour. Pre-measured 1 1/4 cups of flour, and my 1/4 of a teaspoon of salt. I'm going to go ahead and mix all of these ingredients together now just until everything is nice and moist and the brownie mixture is smooth. Get all that flour mixed in there. Okay, once all of your brownie batter is nice and evenly mixed, you're going to go ahead, set your wooden mixing spoon aside, and I'm going to go ahead and pour my brownie mixture into my prepared baking pan, which has already been previously greased. And if you need to, this is kind of a two-man process, so make sure you and your lab partner are both kind of working to get this in there evenly. But you're going to hold that saucepan over the baking pan and spoon everything in there. Make sure you get all of it. You don't want to waste any of it. Oops. Maybe the person with muscles can hold the pan. It gets kind of heavy sometimes. And you want to make sure that you do not go ahead and lick this bowl when you are all finished, because there's a raw egg in there and you can get sick from doing that. So every little last bit of that batter should go right into that baking pan. Okay, after you've poured this into your baking pan, make sure that it kind of covers the entire bottom. You don't want anything bare. You want it to bake evenly. Okay, and once your mixture is nice and covered on the bottom, you can go ahead and make sure all the batter is off of the sides before you throw it into the oven. We don't want that to burn. I'm going to go ahead and wipe all that off there. And this is going to go into the oven for about 25 to 32 minutes at 350. Alright, our time has passed in the oven and our brownies are now finished. They have risen pretty nicely, and a great way to test on whether or not they are done is to just stick a little toothpick in there, and if you take the toothpick out and it is smooth, then your brownies are probably done. If it comes out moist, then it probably hasn't been in long enough and you might need to put that brownie pan back in the oven for just a few more minutes.